Inga, thanks very much for joining us. Obviously, lots of positive sentiment around particularly logistics and residential, so it'd be good to get your view on that. But also the negative sentiment over the last 2 years on retail. Is that beginning to change? What's your sense on those sectors?
Retail for sure is one of the transformation segments. I think that's across the board. That's not only in Germany. We can make a clear distinction between high street and retail warehousing slash discounters, supermarkets. There's a strong interest from investors into retail warehousing and anything that's grocery anchored and catered for the daily needs, because there is very strong occupancy, great turnovers. So that's working and functioning. We have seen yields coming down in that segment. High street is a little different. You need to be a bit more adventurous from the investor side, maybe. But what we've seen over the past couple of months is that whenever lockdown measures were low, when people were allowed to go back into the shops without any restrictions or with limited restrictions, people come back into the high streets. We are all social creatures. We like to come together and experience new things. No doubt there's quite some vacancy out there. Rents have come down in selected cases, but you see a lot of pop-up stores. You see a lot of retailers trying new things. We see more take-up in 2021 than in the year before. We see more shop openings. There's more and more retailers taking the opportunity to get bigger space at lower rents, try new things. So there is going to be a question: how do we develop our inner cities, our CBDs? How do we attract people? Is it mixed use? The question is what concepts will survive, what will be successful. So that's going to be interesting to see, but there's lots of chances and potential. So that's the thing that we see in retail, COVID-19 as an accelerator rather than a shift towards something completely new. This process was going on for the last couple of years. Different the situation in logistics, for sure. COVID-19 was like the booster for that segment. Take up has been super strong, and we saw record volumes in investment. It's sort of investors' darling right now because there is a long-time perspective to it. We have a strong German economy in the background, manufacturing-wise. There's lots of trade, plus the boom in e-commerce. There is constant demand from the big players. So that's the beauty of logistics. It's just a question of where's supply, where can we secure supply, and where can we develop actually new land, new product. Because that's also an issue, because logistics is for sure competing with the other asset classes. And some of the cities and municipalities say, hold on, we have to be really careful in how we develop our logistics space. So there's going to be more discussion maybe on brownfield development. Will vertical logistics products come into the market? Will they be accepted by the tenants or not? So that's also a very exciting sector. And the German residential market for sure is the topic of the day, sort of. We have seen this tremendous investment volume of more than 50 billion, but you need to keep in mind that the takeover from Vonovia by Deutsche Wohnen alone was 22 billion euros. So that record might be for eternally, but the good thing or the interesting thing about the German residential market is it's very constant, and you see very strong rental growth in the last couple of years. I think since 2015, about 28%, so that's a lot. And there is very limited vacancy, so that all comes together, making the residential market one of the favorite segments for international investors because of the constant cash flow, and for German investors as well. So lots of appetite for that product.
Thanks very much for joining us, Inga.
Thank you.